Alright, so we're back with all the turbo stuff for the 180. I've got everything to chuck it back together now. So yeah, before we get started, I had a couple of people message me about the E85 additive. This is the stuff I run here. It's just the VP racing stuff. So yeah, basically because the ethanol's really hygroscopic, when you shut your engine off, anything that's had contact with the ethanol just attracts moisture. So this is like a lubricant that gets mixed in with the fuel just so that everything that gets coated when you shut your engine off has some form of a barrier on it. Yeah, just stops everything from getting corrosion and rust build up. Cool. So yeah, I got a couple of bits and bobs from Sleeker Spares. So we got here the new studs and nuts for the wastegate, a couple of locking tabs, new Greddy gasket there for the wastegate, and new pair of locking tabs there for the turbo itself. And I also got the Nordlock washers as well. So for those that don't know, these are they're a two-piece washer. They're serrated on the top and bottom so that they bite into the fastener, and then the whatever the component is that's being tightened up, and then on the inside there they've got a cam system, so that to actually back these off, they have to ramp up on those cams so it actually tightens itself before it breaks loose. Just stops things from rattling loose with vibration and everything. So yeah, these are, got 4 of those guys there. They're just stainless steel M8 Nordlocks. I put Nordlocks previously on the screamer pipe bolts as well, because yeah, they'd rattled loose the first time I drove the car. So yeah, and yeah, for anyone that's wondering about the turbo setup before I put it all back together, it is this guy here. It's a Kinagawa TD06 20G. Here's the front cover for the thing. I had a elbow and an adapter welded on there, just to get all the silicon further away from the hot stuff. So yeah, TD06 20G. Got this real cool epoxy manifold that I managed to find. Yeah, haven't seen any of those around. And yeah, just a Trust or Greddy 50mm wastegate, Type R. So yeah, nothing too crazy. Yeah, it does the job. Make some nice noises. So yeah, I'll probably get to changing all of these nuts and studs and everything over, and then we'll chuck it all back in the car. So I'll set the camera down somewhere and yeah, get stuck into it. Here's something I forgot to mention before. I ended up chucking a straight edge across the flanges, and the yeah, this wastegate flange here was warped. I've hit this with a file already in a couple of different directions, and you can see it's still really low right in here. It hasn't touched those marks since I swapped directions, and right up the top there. I can't remember which diagonal it was. I think it was across this way. The straight edge would actually rock across that diagonal, so yeah, no good for sealing gaskets. So yeah, I'm just going to go over this with a file a bunch more times until it's all level, get that low spot out, and then yeah, chuck it all back together. Alright, so that's looking a lot better now. Yeah, gave it a good hit with a file, then a sanding block and some wet and dry just to smooth it all out a bit nicer. The file left some pretty harsh marks in there, so yeah, wet and dry got all that out. So yeah, probably flip it back over onto the bench and put the wastegate and turbo back together, and then get to putting it in the car. Alright, so we've got the wastegate and the turbo back on the manifold now. Unfortunately, these locking tabs for the wastegate were too small. They must be for a 40mm gate, not a 50. Or they're most likely actually T25 turbo flange or something. Because yeah, they were too small for this. But anyway, luckily we got the Nordlock washers in there. Yeah, turbo's all bolted up with fresh. Oh, see if I can get the stupid camera in there, the locking tabs here. So yeah, I like to try and peen those over as best as possible, sort of wrap them around the nut a little bit and make sure there's no chance of those vibrating loose. But yeah, still ready to go. Chuck the screamer pipe on and then yeah, get it back in the car. Turbo's in now. That went in easier than expected. Yeah, manifold's all tight now. It's just a matter of hooking all the lines up, picking up the catch can, get the dump pipe up. So yeah, pretty close now. Yeah, we'll get to that and then we'll fire it up. All back together. Yeah, that went smoother than expected. So yeah, try and fire it up and try not to piss the neighbours off too much. I don't think there's a great deal of fuel in this thing, but it should be enough to get it going. So yeah, sit this down somewhere and see how it goes. Got all the E85 cold start, but cool. Oil feed's not leaking. Can't see with the camera, but the oil drain's not. Oh yeah, there we go. You can see that, nice and dry. Cool. Sweet. So yeah, get this thing up to temp tomorrow and yeah, make sure it's all good. But so far, so good. It's all back together and yeah, not too much to do now until I can drive it again. Probably one more issue that I want to sort out that's fuel related. I don't know if you can see that down here. Barely, oh, you can see the gauge down there, but yeah, it's not holding fuel pressure like it should. Usually it idles at around 40 to 45 psi, and lately it's down as low as about 20 to 25. So yeah, look into that a bit. Yeah, and then just wait for an event that I want to do. Yeah, next video will probably be digging into the fuel issue. I've got an idea of where to start looking. I can't see any leaks externally, so and yeah, the reg hasn't backed off. That's nice and tight still. So I might pull the cradle out of the fuel tank and have a look at the rubber hoses in there, see if it's leaking internally. So but yeah, as for the turbo stuff, that all seems to be good. I'll get it up to temp tomorrow, and yeah, just check the flanges, make sure nothing's leaking. But yeah, seems good so far. So cool, I'll leave this one there. Yeah, thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.